Chantel, and today I want to update my TBR cart. Now, I'm trying to do this seasonally. I did it just before fall, and I'm doing it just before winter. I mean, I know winter doesn't start till December, but for me, this is already winter. So I'm going to be adding 10 books to the cart, as well as I'm going to add a couple prompts to Hey Reader, or I want to share which ones I will add. So if you haven't been here before for any of my TBR videos, my husband created a website called Hey Reader at my request because I wanted a website that I could go to that would generate prompts for me that I could pick my TBR, my to be read stack every month from, and I've been really enjoying it. I purposefully left the prompts vague so that anyone could use it no matter what genre you like to read. But we also gave the option to do custom prompts. So if you like a specific kind of book, or want a little bit more of something in particular in your reading life, you can add that. And I think I made 5 prompts that I want to add in. Actually, I'm wrong. There's actually 6 prompts that I want to add in. So the first one is fantasy. I specifically kept all genre specific prompts off of Hey Reader because if I put fantasy on there, not everyone enjoys fantasy. But for myself, that is one thing I want to read more of this winter. So I'm going to be adding a fantasy prompt as well as historical fiction. Now, my historical fiction, generally I like it with a fantasy twist, which is great because then I can use those kind of books for either prompt. But that's another one that I'm going to add in this winter. Then I'm also going to add in suspense because I've been enjoying a lot of that lately, and I kind of want to carry it over from the fall because I didn't actually get to read as many suspense type books as I wanted. So I'm going to add that in, as well as mystery. Okay, here's the thing. I think I like mystery. That is kind of what I read most of when I was a kid. But now I pretty much only read Agatha Christie as far as mystery goes because there's some things I don't want to read about in mystery books, and I know she's fairly safe. If you guys have really good mystery recommendations, please let me know. Then my 5th prompt is winter vibes. So anything that makes me feel wintry, if it's got snow on the cover or set in winter, anything like that. If it's any of the books from this stack of 10 that I'm going to add, or I recently did a video, my last video, about 10 books on my winter TBR. If it's some of those books, those would kind of all count as winter vibes. And then my 6th prompt I'm going to add in is series. I have started a lot of series in the last year, and for various reasons haven't continued some of them were because the book was kind of meh, and other ones just because other books kept taking priority. And there are a number of different series that I want to continue over the next few months, especially winter. That just seems like the perfect time to continue on with some characters that you've been really enjoying. Oh, I am sporting another one of my bookish shirts that I made. I will link the shop below if you're interested. Got a couple different bookish sayings and things, and yeah, this one says book smart, which I'm not sure. Sometimes I feel like I'm pretty dumb, so maybe I shouldn't be wearing this, but I read a lot of books, so maybe people will think I'm book smart. Okay, now that we've gone over the prompts that I'm adding in, I want to tell you what the 10 books are that I'm going to add in here. I think I should have room on my cart. This has enough space, I think, here. This has a decent amount of space. And my bottom, yeah, I think these 10 books should be pretty close to fitting. If not, we'll just kind of cram some extras in like I usually do. And still this back row, which you can't actually see, behind here I've got another row. These are all library books, and I'm trying to kind of keep it that way. Have my library books on here as well. Okay, first one is historical fiction with a fantasy twist, and that is Briar Rose. This is actually my 2nd book that is set during World War II that has a fantasy twist that is on my winter TBR. I shared one in my last video, and they're both by the same author. So this is Poland, 1942 Poland, and it's Briar Rose, who is some character. Who is she? Is that Sleeping Beauty? She's some kind of fairy tale character anyway, and that kind of meshes together here. It says, oh, except this is kind of funny because it says in the heat of midsummer 1942. So maybe not that wintry, but I don't know, it felt forlorn looking, which just screams winter to me. Deep in a forest in the heart of Poland, Briar Rose arrives at a castle that has fallen into the hands of an evil army. It's a graceful retelling of the German folktale Briar Rose. Oh, Sleeping Beauty. Okay. It sets the story amid forests patrolled by the German army during World War II. This one sounds so amazing. I just like cannot wait to get to this. I hope I can go onto my December TBR so I can get to it really, really soon. And I think this is maybe like YA or middle grade-ish. This author usually writes that kind of for that age, but it doesn't actually say inside. But I just love this little book. This will be such a good one. Actually, maybe it'll fit here. Oh, right by her other one that I want to read this winter. Perfect. Next up is Girl in the Blue Coat. I shared this book in a recent book haul. I just got it. It is also 1943. Like, apparently I've got a bunch of World War II books that I want to read this winter. But this is about our main character kind of works in the black market back in World War II. And one day she has a client who asks her to help find a Jewish girl who was hiding in her house and has disappeared. And that sounds very interesting to me. This next one is one that, like, after I bought, I kind of got my expectations lowered. And this is called The Snow Child. This is in Alaska, 1920. A couple lives out in the woods and they find a girl randomly in the woods and kind of like adopt her. But I think there's like some kind of like magical elements. I don't really know. But the cover looks really nice and snowy, and hopefully it's better than I'm expecting. This one was actually originally on my TBR cart last winter, and then I pulled it off to make room for other books. So it needs to get read this winter. Next up is The Space Between Words. This is a book I picked up off of Booklet a little while ago. I was just looking at their Christian fiction, looking at books that sounded good that I'd never heard of, and this is Dual Timeline. I thought it was Dual Timeline, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just present day, but they're uncovering a story from someone who lived centuries before. I think maybe that's what it is. I don't know specifically, other than like Christian fiction, what subgenre it's in. I really wish they would be a little more descriptive with that, but I feel like this maybe had like some suspense vibes. Okay guys, if you've been here for like a month or two, you might be like, oh yeah, no surprise there. Oh look, it's a Jamie Jo Wright book. This is Echo Among the Stones. So she is one of my absolute favorite new to me authors this year. I read one of her books in September, one in October, one already in November. Oh my goodness, people in their trucks. And I'm determined that this is going to be my December read, so it's got to work out. She writes Dual Timeline, usually like 1906, 7, 8, and then present day, and there's usually some suspense. Her books are classified as romantic suspense. There usually is a pretty neat coupling off, which is a bit annoying, but the suspense and like she tackles really hard, deep topics, and I appreciate that in her writing, and I think she does that really well. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. This one was written in 2019. Okay, so I kind of wish I would have like read her books in order that she published them, but I think this is one of her newer ones, even though I know she had one that came out this year. That one I'm hoping to get for Christmas and then read in January. So excited about this. Like this needs to go on my top shelf somewhere. Something's gonna have to get bumped for that. Honestly, even though I keep saying I want to read Hum If You Don't Know the Words, I don't know. I just keep being like not in the mood. It's kind of like I always wanted to watch the movie for The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, but it's like, why would I make myself, like, put myself in that position where I know I'm just gonna watch a movie and cry? And this book kind of feels that way, like, I'm just not ready emotionally to read it. And then I have a nonfiction. I haven't bought a whole lot of nonfiction this last year, and I probably won't buy much in the future, but I do want to read more of it, and this is Blessed Are the Misfits. have heard really good things about this book and Brant Hansen's other book called Unoffendable. Yeah, this is just one I bought off of Book Outlet. I've been meaning to get to. I'm definitely going to make it a goal to read more nonfiction next year. And so if I don't get to it in December, it's definitely going to be early 2021. I don't even know what this is about. Warning, if modern church culture makes perfect sense to you and you always fit in seamlessly, don't read this. For the rest of us, as a fellow misfit, popular author, and radio host, he looks to answer questions that millions of people carry with them each day. If I don't feel God's presence, is something wrong with me? What if I'm not good at talking to people about my faith, or not good at talking to people at all? What if I'm terrible at praying and even struggle to want to pray? What if I say I'm a believer but actually feel like a spiritual imposter? If I struggle with depression, does that mean I failed spiritually? So, yeah, heard good things. Hope to get this one soon. Then this one was a total cover buy. This is The Wolf Wilder. The Wolf Wilder. There we go. First of all, I'm like a total sucker for the gold foil. This is Wolves Like Children Are Not Born to Lead Calm Lives. So this is this girl and her mom trained domesticated wolves to fend for themselves in the snowy wilderness of Russia. So snow, Russia, wolves. Actually, I have another wolf book that also might be set in Russia that I think I didn't actually pull out to put on here, but this is just total winter vibes. Middle grade. I might save it for middle grade March. We'll see. Oh, and this is another middle grade book. This is Journey of the Pale Bear. I don't know why I picked this one up. It wasn't like a cover buy. The polar bear is a royal bear, a gift from the King of Norway to the King of England. The first time Arthur encounters the bear, he's shoved in her cage as payback for stealing food. But then she doesn't harm him, but though she attacks everyone else that comes near. That makes him valuable to the doctor in charge of getting the bear safely to London. Okay, yeah, so, I don't know, some kind of middle grade book about a polar bear, and it sounds interesting. I didn't really sell that one very well. Okay, this is another one that was on my cart in last winter, and I really want to get to, and wish I would have then. I have the 3 books that I think are currently out in this series, and that is Winter House. I know I always like rave about this, but I just really love the details of the dust jacket, how there's like actual cutouts, and then they like line up with the people, the gorgeous map inside here. So yeah, this is something about a hotel. An orphan ships, her uncle ships her off to the ominous Winter House Hotel. Upon her arrival, she discovers that Winter House has many charms, most notably its massive library. And then she locates a magic book of puzzles that will unlock a mystery. Yeah, I don't know why this one kind of like reminded me that, I don't know if it's the picture or the fact that it's a hotel and it's wintry, but it reminds me a little bit of Green Glass House, which I mostly enjoyed. Yeah, I absolutely have to read this book this winter. I'm saying that for so many books though, you guys. Like, can I read this many books? I can try. Okay, and the very last book, one that I have to read next month because it is called A Boy Called Christmas. I think quite a few people read this book last year, and then I think there's 3 books in the series. Boy Called Christmas, The Girl Who Saved Christmas, and something about, is there like a Father Christmas? I think I have all 3 of them, but I believe this is the first one, so I thought I would try it. 11-year-old Nicholas, nicknamed Christmas, has received only one toy in his life, a doll carved out of a turnip. Still, he tries hard to believe in happiness, living with his father in the second smallest cottage in all of Finland. Then one day his father goes missing and Nicholas must travel to the North Pole to save him. I don't know, this just kind of looked like a cute Christmassy book, so we'll give it a try. And that is the last of the winter books that I'm adding to my cart. So the next time I will update this will probably be March, I think. So hopefully I can get like a good chunk of these books read. If you have some really good like winter book recommendations, I would like to know them, even if I might not get to them, or they might make some of these books get bumped. Yeah, I've really gotten into mood reading this last year, even like 6 months, and I just want to read like all the wintery books over these next few months. Thanks for watching, guys.